All right, cool. So this is the Adam Wilber AMA, or Madison, as you call it,
The Wilberama.
Wilberama, which is
Name
great.
of my new show, The Wilberama
That's
Experience.
actually Chris Ramsey's idea. I'll credit him for that.
Oh, bless him. We're going to do things a bit differently. We've always do AMAs. We're going to turn it into a drinking game. So if you are of age and you can drink responsibly, by all means get an alcoholic drink. If you're not, then get yourself a glass of water, or if you're Adam Wilber, get yourself a
Ginger
Canada
ale,
Dry.
or no, sorry. Pomegranate cherry sparkling seltzer water, flavored with other natural flavors by Canada Dry. There's your plug. I think the check should be in the mail.
Sweet. I've got Welsh liqueur, Dancy Jones, on brand. Madison?
This is Jim Beam Ghost with lemonade. Adam, is that just a can of vodka, by any chance?
This is the way I drive in my car. That
Yeah.
way I can't get stopped by cops.
Vodka beer, they call it, I think.
Exactly.
So, the game is anytime that Adam or Madison or me mention one of Adam's releases, we all have to take a sip of our drink. So we'll remind you. We'll say drink. We're going to probably miss some as the evening goes on. So if you hear anything like solved or pyro,
Drink.
you take a drink. Simple as that. Let's get into it. I will start off with a question from our fellow teammate, Lloyd Barnes, that says, Adam Wilber, how do I grow a beard?
For Lloyd Barnes, the first and most important step would be you've got to wait till you hit puberty. I think you're probably 4 or 5 years away from that, but once you hit it, the rest will take care of itself.
Perfect.
Poor guy.
Okay, Michael Barker says, what are your thoughts on TV magicians using actors?
Yeah, I could care less. I mean, I don't care. You know, I think if they use TV actors in the right way, then more power to them. And if they don't and they use it and it's bad for magic, well, you know,
I've never understood why Americans say, I could care less. Because if you could care less, then care less. You should be saying,
I could care slightly. I could care just a little bit less. Because if I actually didn't care at all about it, then I wouldn't even answer the question. I wouldn't waste my energy answering it. So I could care a very little bit less.
If you cared that much, you'd expel some weird green effluvia that would like dance across the room. Is that what you mean?
Sure, exactly. I mean, in honesty, I don't really think it matters. I think, you know, if I had a TV show, which should happen any one of these days now, so any of the producers watching, just give me a call. I think good magic can be strong enough that you would never have to use actors, but I also think that there are certain situations where using an actor or a setup is fine. I don't think there's an issue with it, you know?
Can I just say, Adam, that dribble is on point.
I've been working on this for about 13 years.
It's ridiculous. Thank you. Yeah, I wish I could do that.
You can do I call this the Matrix too, where you sort of pause halfway. Yeah,
that's a Skype glitch. That's all. It's just Skype.
Adam, you're the best cardist I've ever met.
Thank you. I do actually get sick of hearing that, but you know, it is what it is.
Stop asking people to ask you then. Not Max actually says, why do you look so much like Mark Ruffalo from the film Spotlight?
What?
Mark Ruffalo? I'll Google him right now.
He's the Hulk. He's like, you know, Avengers, the Hulk.
You sometimes look like Hulk.
Yeah, when I get angry and the green comes out.
Yeah.
I don't think I look anything like this Ruffalo character at all, so I can't answer that.
I think maybe he's just got a thing for you and a thing for Mark Ruffalo, and he's trying to connect those fantasies.
Cool. Yeah. He knows where to find me, you know? My wife's... You know, we'll just end that question.
It's too early. That's too early.
I'll interrupt. So Ryan Lim, 2002, that's when he was born, I think. He says, how to gain confidence in performing on the streets. But I think if let me redesign that question. How do you get confidence in performing in any situation? How do you become like so confident to, especially in like the approach. I think maybe that's why he said the word streets, because streets is so much more difficult.
Sure.
But I've been out with you in the streets, in restaurants, and bars, and you just go up to anybody, anytime, completely in control, fully confident. Something that I couldn't do.
Adam can smell an audience. Like, I've never seen anything like it. When I was in New York with Adam, he disappeared for like 45 minutes. And then a group of people came up to me. It was like a couple of girls and a guy. And they're like, can you do a trick? Because they saw me flourishing. And I hadn't seen Adam like all morning. And then I heard, guy at the back. And I see him like running, like getting into like peak like that. He's like, think of one of these. I was like, oh, where's he been? Is he just like he's like off? He's automatically off?
Yeah.
Here's a true story as
performing.
well to before you answer. I was with you in Hollywood. Remember the night I lost my passport? Right, in that restaurant. You and me were mid-conversation, and you cut me off, and you just stood up and walked over to a crowd and did magic for them. I was like,
Yeah, I love to perform. I mean, I really do. I genuinely love performing. And I think as far as approaching somebody, there's a few things you have to know, which first and foremost is whatever effect you're going to do, you have to know it so you could do it with your eyes closed. So you practice it in your house enough that you don't have to think about it when you're performing. And that inherently will build confidence to the point where you at least know if you're going to show them something, you know the effect. You know, you don't have to think about the slights or whatever is involved. So I think that's the first step, is knowing your first go-to effect. I know 90% of the time when I do a trick, it's the same trick if it's a group of strangers. So I think knowing the effect, but also not, you have to realize that you're not going up to them to show them magic. You're going up to a stranger to engage with them and talk to them and meet them. So do that. Engage them and talk to them and meet them before you show them magic. You know, hey, I'm Adam. I'm an entertainer. I'm a magician. What's your name? Oh, what do you do for a living? And genuinely listen to what they say and care. And then become friends with them briefly, and then let them want to see magic. Don't force it on them. I think if you just go up to someone and say, want to see a trick, you're going to get rejected over and over again, because people don't know what you're asking. They don't know if you mean, do you want to see a trick and then pay you, or a trick like, are you selling me a prostitute? It's a weird thing. So just be a friend. Say, hey, how's it going? And if you walk up with a deck of cards in your hand, they're already going to know you're probably a magician. So if you just introduce yourself as an entertainer and ask them personal questions, that's how I build the confidence. And you'll know pretty quickly, this guy's a prick. I'm not going to show them tricks. Or, hey, this is a fun group. I'll do it. And, you know, most confidence just comes with doing it and knowing your effect, and then just going up to people over and over. And genuinely, if you don't like people and you don't like talking to people, probably not the best thing for you is magic, or at least specifically approaching people on the streets. But if you like people, if you're socially active and you have good social skills, and you find yourself talking to people without magic, then it's just knowing the effect, knowing it inside and out, and going up and performing.
Does that judgment, that like knowing what someone's going to be like, does that kind of help in terms of knowing whether someone's going to... I think that question comes from a place of rejection. I think a lot of magicians are afraid of being rejected when they go up to somebody. Like, do you look at people and think, that guy's not going to be good, so I won't approach him?
Absolutely. Sure. I mean, I don't generally look at somebody and try and make that assessment. You know, there are situations where I wouldn't approach a table because they're clearly having an in-depth, serious conversation. That's just knowing good social skills. You're not going to interrupt somebody that looks like they're... I mean, essentially, as a working professional, when you're walking around doing strolling, you are interrupting people. That's what you're doing. You're walking up, interrupting them, and then showing them magic. So you have to interrupt them. You have to break their pattern of conversation to introduce yourself. For me, genuinely, the way I walk up to somebody at a strolling gig, I've been there, I'm paid to be there to entertain, so I walk up with a deck in hand, I interrupt everybody, I look at the one person who's speaking, and I look them right in the eyes, and I go, oh, excuse me, hey, my name's Adam WILBER, I'm the hired entertainment. What's your name? Now, that person was just speaking, so by me interrupting them, everybody has to listen to what I'm saying, and I've done it in a friendly way. They know I'm the hired entertainment, which means I'm paid to be there to entertain. So now you've got everybody around, and then I just go around the group and I introduce myself to everybody. You've stopped their conversation. They're now invested in your time. Now you just hit them with a really strong trick. And I use a line all the time where I say, nice to meet all you guys. Do you mind if I show you something really cool that you're going to remember tomorrow? Think about saying no to that question. That's a very hard question to say no to. Now, can it be said no? Yes, of course. And it could be really in the middle of an important business conversation. You deal with that. You got rejected. So what? Oh, my fault. Really sorry. I'll be doing magic the rest of the day. I'll come find you guys maybe when you're not so busy. You get rejected. That's part of the game. But walking up, introducing yourself in a friendly manner and saying, do you mind if I show you something that's really cool and you'll probably remember this tomorrow? That's tough to say no to, man. You know? And then you're in. And then you just have to hit them really hard with a quick visual piece of magic. And then the rest is history.
But then that's a whole kind of subject that we could talk forever about.
You could do a full book on it. I mean, you could write, an encyclopedia on how do you approach people. Yeah. But really, it just comes down to know the material you're going to show them. That's why a lot of the top pros always open with the same 1 or 2 pieces of magic. Ambitious card. You've got them engaged. They're signing a card. It's magical. It's easy to understand. It's quick. So know your magic and don't be afraid to be rejected. It's going to happen. Who gives a shit? Go to the next person.
Yep.
I mean,
that's good advice.
Because you do perform quite a lot, like you perform, this kind of leads on. Brian TYJ_Brown98 on Instagram said, what's the most challenging part of both being a working magician and having a high post on Team E? How do you manage being a performer and being sort of high ranking within the team illusionist?
I think it's very easy because Brad is extremely understanding and gets it. I mean, I love magic because I love performing magic. I love suspending people's disbelief for a short amount of time to let them step away from their life, like a really good meditation. You don't think about anything else except that moment in that time. And to me, that's what I love about magic. I give people the ability to forget and just wonder and expand their mind of possibilities for a little bit, for a small piece of time. I don't necessarily love selling. I didn't fall in love with magic with the idea of I want to make magic to sell to other magicians. It's a different thing, right? That's a commercial business that's about putting good magic out to the magic community. My passion for magic is performing magic to laymen. And Brad understands that wholeheartedly. So for instance, I just did a show on Monday. It's Wednesday, 2 days ago. Brad, I'm not going to be there Monday. Absolutely have a great show. So it's easy to separate the two because I have a boss that understands.
Who is the show for, Adam? Are you allowed to say?
I am. It was for President Bush, as a matter of fact, senior.
Wait. The nice one or George W. Wouldn't trust him with a pair of scissors? Which one?
George W.
The nice
President Bush, the senior,
the proper one, not the fake one that got.
I'm not getting into political. It was amazing. I got to perform for him. Got some photos of it. Great group, really, really good show, all around amazing. And it's just that I have a job that allows me to do both. It is also a lot of the stuff I create comes from performing. I'll go, hey. They just said that. If I could make that happen, that'd be a hell of an effect. And then we produce the effect, and then it works out. So I think they both play off of each other. My role as illusionist significantly helps me with my private shows, while my private shows dramatically help me in my creative process of thinking of effects to sell on illusionists. So I think it's a really happy marriage between the two.
Can I just interrupt and say Pyro by Adam Wilber?
Drink.
Thank you.
We're getting thirsty.
And my son Carter Blake and my daughter Alina will be here shortly, and those are both products of mine as well. So go ahead and drink to that.
Okay. Yeah, I was slow to catch up.
How do you know they're yours, Adam?
There is no proof. Carter looks like me, but Alina is significantly darker, cuter, smarter. So I don't know who that real father is, but I'm claiming Carter. He does look like me. So. Oh, I said his name again. Cheers.
He looks like Mark Ruffalo from Spotlight.
That's funny.
So the next question is kind of I can't follow that family talk with the next question.
No, go
So
for it.
I'm going to switch two questions around,
Okay.
and you'll understand when I ask the next question. So SW, I can't say that. Quick, I think I pronounced that right actually. What does it take to be a member of Illusionist?
Tattoos and beards. Next
Sweet.
question.
That's moving on.
So I'll ask the next question in that case because I've bridged it.
Well, let me touch on that a little deeper because I genuinely think I've never worked with more creative and outgoing and educated and just cool, fun people to be around than the team at E. So what it takes is just a genuine love for magic, a smart outlook on what it really means to be a magician, where the magic community is today. So what does it take? It just takes, discipline and a real passion and understanding for magic as a whole, whether it be performing, whether it be marketing, whether it be whatever it is, magic as it is today, understanding it in the bigger umbrella of what it is. And I think everybody on Team E gets it and are some of the best friends I've ever had, as well as best employees and people I've ever worked with. So it's not even work.
Another answer to that question is kind of you can't just come along and your goal is I want to be part of Illusionist, like because I the way that I see our team is a very organic process.
Mm-hmm.
Like we all kind of just fit, and to try and figure out what that is, try and figure out what that piece, how to make that piece that fits. If you try and figure it out, it doesn't work. Like you are that piece or you're not that piece. As simple as that.
I agree, and I think you're spot on. I think it just happens and it organically comes about. And how do you become? I don't know. I mean, I guess you would just be present and be active in magic. And if it's organically meant to be, you're going to find us and we're going to find you at the same time, and it'll just work out. So
yeah.
I've got a question for you, Adam. Name any 3 non-card effects for a 16-year-old that they can get on Illusionist. And they asked that on your webinar, but it's like K Shitajora 54. I hope I mentioned that.
I know that.
Yeah.
Any 3 non-card effects?
Non-card effects that they can get on Illusionist.
For a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
You mean that they can purchase from Illusionist? Is what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, Solved by Adam Wilber. Cheers.
Drink.
Secondly would be an effect called the World's Easiest Coin Bend by Adam Wilber. Cheers.
Drink.
And the only reason I'm plugging my products is so you guys can get a nice buzz on. But World's Easiest Coin Bend is on one of the workers. And it's just a really simple, easy to do, double signed coin bend. And it plays very, very well. So that's 2. And the third one, I would probably say a non-card effect. I'll tell you, one of my favorites that's a non-card effect is, actually I can't say that because we have not released that yet. So,
what were you going to say? What does it begin with?
It start with D.
No, it doesn't start with D, but it's not mine. It's a Cranzo effect, one of Nathan Cranzo's.
Is it a coin thing?
It is a coin thing, yes.
Okay.
But let's see. So the last one that would not be a coin trick that I really enjoy for a 16-year-old, I would say probably. You guys can help me out. You guys name.
I wonder why he said 16. Like it's not like we've got age limits on.
Do you know what I think it is?
I was thinking, so I didn't say Pyro because he knows Pyro is for 18 and above. Cheers, Pyro by Adam Wilber.
I think that. Drink. Yeah, I think that he said it because maybe he's just got into magic and he thinks that he's not that experienced because of his age, rather than the fact that he's just not that experienced yet. So. One of my favorite things, probably on E. Brandon Wolf has got a DVD called Wolf.
Oh yeah,
and
I loved it. Like I watched all of that, and
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you because I have my answer. Sorry.
Go.
As far as impactful I mean, one of the tricks I do every single event, and I will not leave without it, Ring Flight Revolution. You cannot beat, that's one
Yeah.
of the most powerful pieces of magic you can ever do to somebody. So 100%. If you don't own that already, I'm not plugging our products or trying to push our products. If you don't own a very high quality ring flight, go get one, and it will elevate your magic overnight. It's that good of a trick. There you go.
Dope.
Sorry, G, but yes, to G's point, Wolf's coin stuff is out of this world.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and he's a great.
So, Stefan Bistrisanu. I'm so proud of myself for pronouncing that. Wants to know, boobs or ass?
I'm a booty man all day.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Good question.
Yeah, great question. Alistair Sutherland says, are you coming to Blackpool next year? Because I know that you came to Blackpool with us this year.
I don't think so. We'll see. I won't know until the time
Why
comes.
would you go to Blackpool? Like,
That's another valid question.
You're like, do I want to get rained on? Do I want to experience
Let's not get
cold?
into it.
No,
Let's not ruin the WILBER.
I genuinely had a blast when we went last time. So, you know, if the opportunity comes up, absolutely. But it's not planned right now.
Yeah, let's not ruin the WILBER armor by asking questions about Blackpool. R. Cohen wants to know, how do you book? No, I'm gonna rewrite this for him. How did you book your first gig?
I was just asked. I was like, 11 years old. My first gig was I did a birthday party for a cousin or something, and I got paid $20 or something. I didn't go out looking for it. I remember the first gig I booked as an adult trying to make adult magic money. I just grew some balls, and somebody was talking about an event they had, and I said, hey, I'm a professional magician. I could come work the event for you. I didn't have business cards or anything. And they went, oh, great. What do you charge? And I had no idea what to say. So I told them $100, and I ended up doing 3 hours of walk around magic for $100. And it was just because I overheard something, and I said, hey, I can do that for you. And that was the first gig I booked, was just asking, can I have the job, basically.
Goes back to that confidence as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was almost laughable about it. I mean, I didn't even think, I just wanted to be like, hey, I'm a magician, that might work for it. And like I said, I did 3 hours for $100. Like,
I think Lloyd has a great tip on this, because Lloyd never performs at like paid shows. But he says like the only magic is like one of the only art forms that if you're bad, the spectator never knows. Like if you're a bad actor, the audience will know. If you're a bad musician, the audience will know. If you're a bad magician, they might not necessarily know. Like if you get caught with a sleight, they will, but you could still be a bad magician and like pull it off. So don't worry about it. Like have fun. If you get caught, you get caught. You might never see that person again. And
let me touch on that for a little bit. If we're talking about paid gigs, you need to do your research on what it means to be an entertainer, because people who go out and do bad magic performances do a serious disservice to the rest of the people that genuinely try and be good entertainers. And if somebody hires a shitty magician where maybe they don't know he's really terrible, but he's not a good magician as far as entertainment value,
he might not know he's terrible. That's the issue, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, just don't know your skill level to the point of look at the people who you look up to, and are you where they're at? If you're not, that's okay, but don't go trying to get a paid performance before you're ready to do so, because then you are probably going to turn that group into a group of people that will now never want to book a magician again. So, get your skills to the point they need to be magic-wise, but then also spend just as much time on your entertainment skills. Buy books on theater. Buy this book. This is a friggin' gold mine. Wayne Dobson's book. And all this is 50 little tips and pieces of insight on how to be a good stage magician. And there's things you'd never think of in here. and spend just as much time studying the craft of theater as you do the craft of magic before you try and get paid gigs for it. That's one thing I really would say a lot of people don't do enough of. They become good at some tricks, and then they think they are justified in being paid to entertain somebody's event, and that's not the case. Being good at magic doesn't mean you're good at entertaining. And if you're being hired to be a magician, you're being hired to entertain. So know that there is a difference there, and you should study both of them, not just one or the other.
Yeah, agree.
Decibel by Adam Wilber.
Drink.
Right.
I mean, that kind of leads me on to one question that was asked. IP_Jfrey on Instagram says, what is Decibel and when is it being released?
Decibel is a device that is just so good. I'm sorry I sound so arrogant there, but it's the best thing I've ever created by far. It's the most impactful, emotionally engaging, memorable piece of magic I've ever created. It allows you to really get in somebody's head in a way that I don't think has ever been done before to this capacity. So it's a device that will be released soon, very soon, within a couple weeks, but we'll let G sort of take over on all that. And it's just something I'm extremely, extremely proud of. I can't obviously give away too much, but when you see it, I think you'll understand. It's something like I genuinely believe is the best thing I've ever come up with. So
what I think's really good about it is, like, somebody could get this and they could make it magical. Like, they could work it into their magic act. They could do a magic trick with it. But if they think, like, the clever ones will take this and think, oh my God, this is beyond magic now. This is
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a tool that if you've got imagination and you work on your presentation and you really try and connect with an audience, this allows you to do it in ways that, I mean, it opens up ridiculous possibilities.
The best magic doesn't feel like magic, and this is one of those things that, you know, when you show somebody, if you perform it right, they're going to just think it's a real thing and nothing to do with magic. It's just, this is something that this guy can do, which is just crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should probably try not to talk too much about it.
Oh, we'll do this. Here, we'll give one little quick... Can you screenshot that fast enough?
Whoa.
There'll be some guy on the internet.
No, I'll pixelate it perfectly.
He'll be like, what?
But that is Decibel. I'll show you this
I didn't
side.
know it came in 7 colors. What?
That is Decibel. And what else?
So I'm going to stop you there because we should not talk about Decibel just yet.
There it is. That's
So
all I get.
Ryan K29 wants to know if you can do cardistry.
Not really. I do a little bit just to show off. I do the butterfly cut, and I do one or two other things, and that's it. And it's really just to sort of give that illusion that I'm good with cards. But I don't. I appreciate it. I love it. G's a beast. I like watching that stuff, but I it's not something I ever practice. So no.
Do you remember when
you're like me? You appreciate it, but you don't do it.
Exactly. I'll watch it. I think it's beautiful, and what some of the guys are doing today is out of control, and I do love it. I don't think it hurts magic, and you shouldn't do cardistry. Great, if that's if that's the way you think, and you should not look like you have skill with the deck, more power to you. I love the guys that go out and do crazy cardistry and then magic on top of it. It's just not what I spent my time studying. So,
do you remember when we were in New York, Adam, for your birthday, and you were like watching me for hours, and I was just like flourishing for hours, and you're like, teach me something real quick. And I was like, all right, then cool. You just you put this here, and then you come here, and then you do this, then you do that. And you were like,
yeah,
just launch them everywhere.
Never mind.
No?
Yeah.
You're like, I'll stick to me. I'll stick to me.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I love it. I don't want to put the time in to learn it. I feel like I'm too far behind, and there's so many people that are so far advanced.
Me too, Adam. Me too. And I've done it.
Actually. Brandon Ramey says, Adam, have you ever reached a turning point in magic where you wanted to give up? what happened? How did you end up putting it in your favor? And where are you today in the magic industry? So, like, for those that do cardistry and do magic, or those that specifically do magic and specifically do cardistry, like, did you ever have a turning point in magic where you were like, I'm fully in this?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I took the job at Illusionist, that was sort of I left a really great job and switched over to E. And I think that was the like, okay, this is it. This is 100% full on. This is how I will feed my kids and put a roof over our heads, was all magic, not just performing, but my life is magic. I would say that was the most I've ever been inundated with magic, but I've never got to a point where I felt like I was sick of magic or I was burned out or I wanted, I thought about quitting. It's not, that'd be like, have you ever thought about quitting eating? It's like, no,
Clearly not.
That's part, it's just part of my life. It's part, I wake up and I think it and eat it and live it and breathe it 24 hours a day. I don't know if I could ever turn that switch off no matter what happened. I've had obstacles and roadblocks. I've spent thousands of dollars on marketing and seen no turnout or,
Drink.
What did I say?
Sorry, we had a secret word.
Marketing?
Yeah. So anyone that hears marketing for the rest of this, there's a buzz round. You take a drink on marketing too.
Okay. Yeah, but no, I've never had that. I've never wanted to quit. I've never been at that point. I think the biggest turning point was joining E and taking on a full-time magic will support you full-time. So
is that on a segue, like without even reading the questions, was that like a super proud moment then for yourself? Did you then start carrying yourself a bit taller and be like, I've worked so hard for this and now it's finally become a reality?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. There's a crazy story about it, actually. I was at a gig. There's some of the story I'm going to leave out because it is a little personal, but I was at a gig, and leaving the gig, I got a phone call. And I mean, leaving as in I pulled out of the driveway. This is a gorgeous venue in Vermont. This place is on Lake Champlain. It's a frigging castle. And I say castle, I mean it's a castle. And it's just a beautiful venue, fireworks going on. So I pull off, I'm leaving, my phone rings, and it's Brad. So I pulled off like 200 yards from the event in this little turnaround thing, and I park the car and start having the conversation with him. And I shit you not, we go back and forth a bit, and I'm saying, well, what's the job description and this and that, and we're talking. And right as he says, Adam, I would love to offer you a full-time job with Illusionist, maybe 10 seconds after, the firework display started going off at the event I was at. So as he was like, I'd like to offer you a job, do you want to accept it? No shit, in my rear view and my side mirrors. Doof, doof, doof. So I say to Brad, I'm like, dude, I don't know if you believe in signs or not, but legitimately, a fireworks display just started going off in the background. I would be honored to take this job. So, I mean, it just felt right, and it was absolutely a proud, surreal moment for me.
I bet Brad was like smoking a cigar. It was like, so he was like radioing Pete, like, McKinnon, fireworks, quick. Adam, would you like to take a job? Like,
yeah.
Quick, do it now.
No, it was very surreal. I mean, I posted a lot of videos on their Facebook walls, and that was my company. That was the company I latched onto and I related to, and it already felt like a little home away from home. It was my little community I could talk to on Facebook, and and then it became a reality of a job, and it was a very proud moment, and it continues to be. Every day I tell someone what I do, I'm extremely proud about it. I mean, I don't think I could be more proud at a job. I get to be a part of a company that I think is extremely outrageously creative and talented. It makes me more creative, and I think we all stand for the right things. We're trying to do good things in magic and be ourselves. So I've never been more proud of a role I've had at a company.
And I can never be so happy to have a boss like Adam Wilber, the Wilberama.
The Wilberama, yeah. I PayPal'd you for that comment already, so that'll be it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. So next question, Chris Piercy. I think that's how you say it. What do you really think of G. Clarke?
Do I have to answer this with him on the line, or is this the fluff?
Like G can like close his ears if he wants to. Like,
Shall I unplug these?
yeah, don't listen.
No, I love G. G's like my brother. We spent a lot of time together in New York, and it was just him and I. And he's a great guy. He's very smart. He's a very good marketer, and he's a good magician. He gets it. He's a close friend of mine. So I don't know. That's really what I think about him. I think his hair is kind of, could be worked on a bit, but other than that, he's all right.
Okay, G.
I don't know what you said, but I'm assuming it was great.
It's disgusting, G.
Do you know what, Madison?
I think you're probably pregnant now, actually, after that, G.
I've got one almost identical, and they didn't know that me and you would be on this. And it was AloAlex on Instagram says, "Who is Daniel Madison? Who is he?
Who is Daniel Madison? Daniel Madison is Daniel Madison. I mean, that's that. I don't know if you can explain it any more direct than that. I could do it with the accent, but I would hack it. So
I don't. I think Daniel Madison doesn't even know that he is Daniel Madison himself. That's why at the start of all of his videos, he's like, "Sorry, who am I again?" Repeat after me. You are Daniel Madison. I am Daniel Madison.
Yes, to remind himself.
Action.
I think
question who is Daniel Madison, then you know exactly who Daniel Madison is.
I have the best answer to that. Was a birthday present from, I won't say who it was, but a birthday present from somebody was a website, which is danielmadison.co.uk, and it takes to my website. It's like, that's my answer to, who's Daniel Madison? What? Just check danielmadison.co.uk.
Exactly. That'll lead you to exactly who it is.
Very good.
So X Beast Blade X.
Love it.
Beautiful name. Like,
That's a beautiful screen name.
His parents, I mean, God bless them. PS4 or Xbox One, or do you care?
I don't play video games. It means nothing to me. To me, it's a waste of time. I don't care if you play it. To me, I feel like I'm sitting there wasting time.
Okay,
I used to love them when I smoked a lot of pot, and now it's just like...
I'll move straight into another question. Xbox One for me, though. Rhys Cunningham, I know that guy. Do you think your kids will do magic, and would you like them to do magic?
Good question. I would love them to, of course. I don't know if they will. My son already loves it, but he's 3 years old, so he loves anything. If he does, I think it'd be great. I definitely know some ins and outs that I could teach him, and if he doesn't, I just want him to be healthy and happy, so I have no idea.
What would his first trick be that he performs, do you think, of yours?
The backup plan.
Drink.
Where's my drink gone?
G was just thirsty. That was a loaded question. He knew what he was
I know, yeah. I was like, I've got to take a
What are your
now.
top 5 favorite tricks of yours?
Yeah. I'm like, I haven't drank in 3 months, so it's gonna take its toll. I'm already seeing like 11 questions, and I've only got 5. Toast Plus says,
Oh, it's my homie Asa. He's one of my best friends growing up. Asa Palmer, one of the best cooks and bread makers in the United States. Check him out. I'm dead serious.
what I like about that is like someone says, "What do you do?" and he's like, "Toast," and they're like, "Anything else?" And he's like, "Oh crap, yeah, I do other stuff too."
Yeah,
he's
bread.
like, "Toast Plus."
Bread.
Toast Plus other stuff.
Toast is his dog. He's got a badass pit bull, and that's his dog's name. But what did he have to say? I love.
He said, "What's the meaning of life, and where do babies come from?" And I'm not sure in how much detail you can go into on the meaning of life.
Asa and I back in the day found out. We'll keep some personal stuff personal. Meaning of life. The meaning of life is to. I genuinely think it's just to figure that out on your own. What is your purpose in life? How do you contribute to society in a positive manner? And where do babies come from? Asa, if you're watching this, pick the phone up and call me. It's been way too long, and I'll show you firsthand where babies come from.
That's strange.
I wish I was Toast Plus now.
We were close. We're very close.
I wish you'd show me firsthand, Adam.
Hey, the mid-year summit's coming up, gentlemen.
Can't wait.
Toronto. I'm going to have to book a separate hotel now.
Our very good friend Raymond Singson wants to know, would you rather work a gig at a trendy nightclub naked, or a gig at a retirement home naked?
It's hysterical. I have a gig this weekend at a retirement home.
A naked one?
Yeah.
No, it's not a nudist one.
Okay.
I like the way you said it's not a nudist one, as if that was an option.
No
it's
one
like,
of
oh,
those.
we're gonna put grandfather in a retirement home. Which
Not
one?
like last
Which
week.
one?
I guarantee if you Google nudist retirement home, there's at least 3 in the country.
I'll tell you a funny story, actually. My girlfriend's
yeah,
grandparents were selling their house, and they had like a viewing, and her grandfather didn't want to sell. Like, he didn't want to. So someone walks in for a viewing, it's like 9 a.m. They're like, oh, this is the kitchen. They walk into the kitchen. He's got a tie on, a jumper, cufflinks. He's like making a bacon sandwich, a cup of tea. No pants on at
Amazing.
all. Like completely naked from the waist down.
It's amazing.
And they were like, oh, we'll call you, bye. And he was like, yes.
That's awesome. I love
But
it.
gee, aren't you completely naked from the waist down right now?
That's where I learned from. I learned from him.
But you're on film and you sat down, so it doesn't matter.
I know, that's why I had to get all my drinks ready on this table so I didn't have to leave.
You'd have to stand up.
I would rather do the plush nightclub, I think.
I'd rather do the retirement home.
For me, I mean, most of the time when I perform, I'm in the nude anyway, so it wouldn't feel that much different, and I think I could make more money at the nightclub than the retirement home.
What if you meet a
Makes sense.
really attractive girl in the nightclub and she's so attractive that your deck knocks out of your hand?
Wouldn't happen. I'm
What if
only
the
attracted.
same things happens at the retirement home?
That's what I'm actually scared of. I don't want to go to the retirement home because it would be harder for me, figuratively and literally.
Okay. Thanks for that, Adam.
Yep, you got it. Can we get on to maybe a little different topic now?
Yeah.
Max Durdant Hollenby, which is a great name. I can only imagine that he has a very wealthy estate. Says, any other color keepers going to be released?
Oh,
So drink.
that's a hell of a question. I don't know if I have an answer to that one.
Perhaps there might be a red one.
I can't really say for certain, except if I did say specifically, Brad might be mad at me. So I don't know. I guess you'll have to decide on your own. Good enough?
I didn't acknowledge any hint there, so legally I think we're okay.
I will kind of put myself on the line and say it's not just a different color.
No,
I will stop it there.
This deck is going to be a worker's deck. This is one that you can do some cool stuff with. So yeah, I think you guys will dig
This
it.
is the WILBER deck.
This is the Wilberama.
We should have called it the WILBERs.
Oh yeah. Keeper Wilbur edition.
I think that's a drink, right?
Yeah. Drink.
Our good friend Ben Mofo Williams,
Bacon. I already read it.
wants to know
Great question.
Captain America Civil War or X-Men Apocalypse?
That's a damn good question. I'm going Apocalypse.
What?
What?
Yeah.
Did you even see Civil War?
I didn't. No.
Oh, well, there
That's
you go.
why you
That's
got.
why.
You can't. That's why.
Well, I have to answer the question, so I have to go with the one I saw, right?
You could just say you didn't see Civil War, and then that would be the end of it.
Hey, I've committed. When I commit myself, I'm committed.
Well, maybe you should try committing yourself to Civil War before answering that question.
I thought you were going to say maybe you should try committing yourself to a hospital.
Yeah, commit yourself to the Marvel franchise and not Fox.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so I can get one answer wrong. Jesus.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my god, I've never wanted to physically harm someone so much in my entire life.
Wow. Okay. Touch.
Madison, how good is that film?
Civil War.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is it? All right, maybe I'll check it out then. Is it on Netflix
I've
yet?
never watched. Well, maybe in the last 10 years, never watched a film twice in the same day. It was a slow day for me.
Okay, I'll check it out.
But
I watched it once at the cinema, and then I lied to my friend and told him I hadn't seen it, so I could go back to the cinema with him and watch it. That's how good it is.
All right.
I went to the cinema on my own, and then to avoid embarrassment, I dressed up as two midgets, disguised as a real person. And watched it again.
To avoid embarrassment, I dressed up like two midgets. It's great.
Okay, we've got another one from our good buddy Steve Rowe, creator of Pop.
Did it look like my screen froze?
Yeah. What's your go-to when you feel in a creative rut? That's from Steve Rowe.
Steve. I call Steve. I could probably. Steve is very creative and awesome. It's a great question. My go-to is meditation, to be honest. Meditating with the purpose of trying to be creative. So visualization, meditation on getting out of a rut. That's usually what I find helps me the best. If it's like I'm trying to force something and I can't, I meditate on it. So that's my go-to.
Cool. Jesse Brown asks, aside from magic, what's your favorite book?
Jonathan Livingston Seagull. It's a very short book.
Love it. Yeah.
Great book.
Love that book.
I actually have a bronze statue of Jonathan Livingston Seagull on my mantle.
Do you really?
Yeah, hold on, I'll show you. It's really cool.
I'm learning about you, Adam. Gee, I'm learning about Adam.
I know, I didn't know they had a mantle.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, he's got a mantle.
This is a gift.
Gets
from
paid too much.
Yeah.
My father gave me this for a birthday present, but that's Jonathan Livingston Seagull.
So good.
It's amazing.
So,
Adam, what does your mantle look like?
It's not a mantle. It's just I don't know if I can show you now, but it's just my bookshelf. So all my books, and then up top, there is where it goes.
Okay, so it's not a mantle.
It's not a mantle, not even close. I just used that to make myself sound more prestigious. So thanks
You just let me down, Adam, a little bit.
I know. He's trying to Johnny Depp himself, wasn't he? He was like, oh, I've got a mantle and everything.
You guys aren't very nice, but we'll keep it going.
Sasha Crespi says, what is your daily ritual?
Gene and I were just talking about this. So I wake up and I do a meditation practice, which is a 6-phase meditation practice that goes on gratitude, forgiveness, projection. There's 6 different phases. So that's a 15-minute meditation to start. And then I do a yoga. It's a workout yoga thing called YRG yoga, which is, I have a degenerative disc in my back, so I have to do that instead of work out. And then I go for a walk, and that's my sort of start the day. And then when I close out the day, I do another meditation thing right before bed. And that's like my day-to-day, okay, I have to hit these things today if I'm going to have a normal feeling day. Other than that, it's just whatever comes, day to day.
Okay. So, Salim Miyazaki wants to know I'm going to ask it my own way because it doesn't make sense. How long, what's the distance between coming up with an idea to it becoming a trick, to it becoming released?
Mm-hmm.
I can to me it sounds obvious, but maybe it's not.
They're all different, right? I mean, like last night I had a great idea for a card trick, and I went, okay, that'll work. And I've never done it. I know I could go do it right now and be flawless with it. Whereas something like Decibel,
Drink.
Adam Wilber, that took over 2.5 years of development.
Did you say Decibel? Okay.
Yes.
Drink.
Did I just say Decibel?
Yeah.
Drink.
Stop saying decibel.
Okay. It's obviously it's case by case, right? Things that are prototyped, electronics, pyro, things that need to go back and forth are anywhere from a year to 3 years, whereas some things are legitimately, I have an idea, is it going to work, and you'll have the trick that night. So it really is a case by case thing.
Dwayne Paul Williams says, going on along that, if you could only perform one effect for the rest of your life, what would it be? And that's our buddy Dwayne, who's got that insane coin and bottle trick.
Oh, hey, thanks for writing in. I mean, that's a tough question because what situation would you ever be in where that was a reality? But if it was, and I was in that situation, if I could only perform one trick, it it would probably be ambitious card ending with card to box or something like that. Because you can really play with that. You can make it a 15-minute long effect, or you can make it a 2-second long trick. And, it's just one that I really, really love. So I'll just go with that, ambitious card with a kicker ending of card to impossible location.
Dinesh Patil says, if you would have a choice of choosing any supernatural power, what would it be and why? Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, my friends and I in high school always had this debate, and there was half of us the debate was teleportation or invisibility, and which one would be better to have, right? And for me, if I could have any actual power where I could do anything I wanted, it would be to pause time. To remember that old Adam Sandler movie where he had the remote and he could pause time.
Yep.
Yeah,
It would be that.
Love
It
that
would be
film.
able. I'd be able to basically just freeze time in any moment or reverse time. So probably that.
That's a really good film. If anybody's listening who didn't see it, it's not just an Adam Sandler film. It's really good.
Click.
Yeah.
I loved it. It actually got horrible ratings, but I thought it was great.
That's one film like that almost had me in tears at one point.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
And imagine, oh my God, imagine being able to do that. Imagine just as a magician, you start your show and you pause it in your first intro and you go to 5 people and grab out their wallet, learn all this information and start the show again.
There's
if you had 5 wallets, Adam, why would you bother doing a show? You'd be like off, wouldn't you?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, that's a good point, because genuinely, if I won, people say, how do you know what you want to do in life? Well, if you didn't ever have to worry about money and you were filthy rich, what would you do? I would create magic and perform magic. If I was filthy rich and didn't care, I would still do exactly what I'm doing today. So that's how I know I'm a very lucky person.
Just to go back to that film, Click. There's something in that for magicians who haven't seen it. Like you two have seen it, right? So
Yeah.
His dad does this trick for him, and he kind of exposes it.
Yeah.
Like when I watched that, I was like, that got me kind of into the film. But
Yeah.
then later on in the film, I was more into the film than that. But it's a very interesting film for magicians, I think.
Yeah. I've probably watched it 5 times, 3 or 4 right when it first came out, and I just watched it again maybe a year or so ago. I love it. And I've always loved that idea of having a button that you could just pause time. Like you could never really get hurt. Somebody shoots a gun at you and you instantly pause. You grab the, it's just like.
But can you press the button faster than somebody?
Well, that's
can
the
pull the
thing.
trigger?
So in my head, when I'd planned this, there would always be a buffer, right? So you'd have like a 30-second buffer. Okay. So if someone shot you in the back of the head, you'd still have this 30-second buffer of being like, no, I want to rewind that.
You mean so when you've been shot in the head, you're dead, but you still got 30 seconds to press that button?
Exactly. You're dead and you go, did someone just shoot me in the head? What the?
Okay.
Beep, rewind. Yo, this
press
dude's
the
about
button.
to shoot me in the head. So, that would be my superpower.
Okay, moving on. Josh Sanders wants to know, what's the worst mess up you've made during a trick?
That's fun. It's funny. I did this big show this weekend, and it was the Bush. It was a fundraiser for President Bush. All these really rich, influential people, and I did a stand-up show for 25 minutes. And my opening effect is silk to egg. So right as I'm about to go on, I check my props really quickly and I pull out the egg and it's completely smashed. Like just to the point where it hasn't exploded out of its shell. And I was like, oh, what the hell am I going to do now? But I had a carton of eggs in the car. So I sprinted to the car. I peeled off the thing that you need for the trick to work and stuck it on a new egg. But first, before I did, I was like, oh, I'll just be very careful with it in my pocket. And because it's my opener, I'll be straight. And as I put it in my pocket, I felt the whole egg just go. So I cradled it out real quick and dropped it in the trash as I peeled the thing off and ran and stuck another one on. So that was the scariest one, because I was about a minute away from going on stage with the prop that I need for the trick not there. I don't know if that's the biggest mess up I've ever done. I don't know. Can't really think of like a. I'm not saying I haven't done it. I just can't think of one right now of where
I think with magic, like when you mess up, there's always a way to
exactly.
counteract it, a way around it.
There's not a lot of tricks that are like, okay, oh, you know what? The same event, I did the strolling for it. I just got the CUPP, which is a brilliant, brilliant trick. But basically, it allows you to have a Powerball printed of any numbers that people named. And I tried messing around with walk around, and I did this thing, and I pulled it out, and the Powerball ticket wasn't printed. So there's no real out to this, right? I'm just like, and I have a Powerball ticket in my pocket with your numbers not printed on it. And I think I folded it up and went, not all magic is real. And then I did another trick. So that was the most recent one that I can remember being like, well, that didn't work.
I think like people only remember the good as well. So like when you see like a psychic, and the psychic's like, I'm getting Jane? Is it Jane? Is it Jimmy? And then you're like, oh my God, Jimmy was my grandfather.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, they knew, like a month later, you'd be like, they knew my grandfather, spot on.
Yeah.
That's the same with magic. Like you can go out and you can mess that trick up, but if you get 5 right, they won't ever remember that you messed up in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
You reminded me of Phoenix Nights. Did you watch that, G?
Yeah, ages ago, years ago.
Years ago, when there's a psychic.
Yeah.
And he goes on, and he says, I'm picking up the name John. Have we got any Johns in like 200 people? Like 10 people put down.
It's either John or Michael, one of the two.
Yeah.
For any magicians that are like, hate that sort of stuff, jump on YouTube. James Randi does a thing to expose psychics.
Yeah.
So he has a woman go out and do a performance, and just search James Randi psychic debunked. And she'll go out and she does like a reading on the audience, and then they poll the audience. They say like, how do you think that went? And they're like, oh, like 80%, 90% correct. And he's like, I'll read you all the names she said. And he's got like 4 pages. He's like, Andrew, Anthony, Adam, like, and then they're like, oh wow, I didn't remember that they said all of those. So yeah, it's crazy to see like what people actually forget and what they remember.
Yeah.
But it's going off that, Adam. Talking about gigs and things. Sean McCarthy, that we met at Blackpool, says best/worst gig that you've ever done.
This last gig this weekend might have been right up there as far as what it could do for my career. I would say this is the best I've done. It was great. It was just good all around. I was on fire. People were loving it. So I would say that's right up there, this most recent one. The worst gig I've ever done, I did a college, and it was in their cafeteria.
Yeah, you told me about this. This is like 6 months ago.
I did a 45-minute show, and I thought I was going into like a beautiful venue at this college to do my show, and it was in their cafeteria on Saturday night at like 8:30. So these are college kids eating before they're going out to get hammered at 8:30 on Saturday, and like the tables, their seats were all the wrong way. I'm doing the silk to egg, and right as I'm doing the climax and the egg turns real, this guy with a push, I showed G the video, this guy with a push cart walks right in front of me at the exact moment, picking up dirty dishes. And I'm just like, oh, but I mean, I did the show, and it is 100%, it's my fault for not really knowing what I was walking into. But that was probably the most like, I had my expectations set really high because I thought I was going into one thing of like a 300 or 400 person auditorium, and it was going to be a beautiful stage. And I walk in and I was like, what the hell is this? And the guy's like, oh, that's the Goat Head Lounge. And I'm like, no, that's a college cafeteria with a friggin' platform in the middle of it. And he's like, yeah, that's where you're performing. So that was probably the most like where I'd been chopped down the most. You know what I mean? Where I set myself up and then walked in and was like, you're kidding me, right? But, whatever. That's how you learn, so.
So,
Miracle Card Magic by Adam Wilber?
Drink.
You know what? You interrupted something perfect then. So, yeah, drink. So, Daniel Madison says, creative outlet by Adam Wilber. Is that what it's called?
Thanks,
Creative
Steve.
magic.
Creative magic. Yeah.
Drink.
Real fan of my work, huh?
I couldn't be the one that said it though. That's the point.
Were you drunk?
Ah, gotcha.
Were you drunk when you said it?
No.
You were like, oh, yeah, I couldn't read creative outlet.
I was drunk when he created it.
You were drunk when you were like, yeah, let's sell that. That's good.
That's deep. Paul Reynolds wants to know Pyro by Adam Wilber. Frank?
I got a refill. Let's drink water for now with it.
No, Paul Reynolds wants to know what's your favorite deck of playing cards and why?
Keepers, because they're mine and they feel great, and I spend a lot of time on them. I'm out of water, so I gotta. I'll drink in spirits.
Cameron Young, this is quite a good one. He says, "What is your
Cameron.
main goal in 5 years' time? What's your main goal 5 years?"
Yeah, that's great. I love that question. I just read a great quote that says most people underestimate what they can achieve in 3 years while they overestimate what they can achieve in 1 year. And that got me thinking, because I think it's true. I think a 3 or 5 year plan is crucial for you to have, success. And my 5 year plan is a little bit personal. There's some things I don't really want to add in there, but a main staple of my 5 year plan is to have developed a stand-up 45-minute magic show that every person that sees it walks away and does something better for the world after watching the show. Whether that's giving $1 to a homeless man, or whether that's, spending more time with their kids. But everybody who watches the show leaves there and does something that in one way or another betters the world. That's one part of a bigger 5 year plan that I've got.
Something that could fit into this 5 years is Kanan Valiev says, will there be a pyro that can shoot multiple fireballs rapidly, like a machine gun, and also produce smoke? The Pyro Ultimatum 3.0.
I don't know. I'll leave that question up to him. I don't have one planned, but, I'd love to see him develop one.
That's it's not for magicians, that though, is it?
No, that sounds like a military grade weapon, but
Yeah.
It's not like
I'm down with that.
Look, your card's now on top.
Yeah.
Smoke. Peace.
That's when the egg smashes and you need to exit a gig. You just set the ceiling on the cafeteria on fire. A big puff of smoke blows on the floor. You just book. You're I'm out.
Yeah.
Maybe that's like the mic drop for the magician. Is that your card? Smoke. Peace.
I did this show when I was 16, and I was on stage. I was the MC of my school's talent show. So I had to come out and tell a few jokes and then do a magic trick, and I do that between every act. And I was doing Hummer card, but before backstage, I was filling my Zippo lighter with lighter fluid so that I could light flash paper. So I forgot, but I spilled it everywhere. It was dark backstage. I spilled it everywhere. And then I get out onto stage, I do the hammer card, come back, I forget about it. The next time I go out after the next act, I did the flash paper trick, but I forgot my thumb was soaked in lighter fluid. And I set my entire hand on fire. And I forgot the trick halfway through, and I start shaking it. And then I finally slap it out, and the fire's gone. And it got a standing ovation. Everyone was like, whoa!
That's amazing.
It's the most dangerous thing I've ever happened to me. And you don't even have to do magic. You could go out with a pyro and shoot 10 fireballs, set your hand on fire, and that's it. Done.
Did you panic? I imagine this cool thing poof, 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 and then your hands on fire and you're going.
I kind of I shook it. So I was doing Single Ladies by Beyonce first. So I shook it and did that.
That's funny.
Jordan Murphy would like you to share some of your ideas, Adam, from your bucket list. So either stuff that you've completed on your bucket list or things that you've got to do.
Hey, Jordan, JM Authentics. If you guys are looking for a ridiculously well-made close-up pad, JM Authentics.
All right.
There you go.
Yeah, I got one here too.
quality.
Mine's in the car from my last show, but
My
they
other
are
one is
damn
on
good.
eBay.
Bucket list, a big bucket list item that I'm still pushing for is to get to perform on the Ellen DeGeneres show. I have not knocked that off yet. And a few other bucket list items are to create something that is not a magic trick, but has universal appeal that solves a problem that makes over $1 million in sales. Another accomplished bucket list was to get a job with Illusionist, and that has been checked off. Another bucket list that I'm still working on goes in line with my 5-year plan is to develop a show that is so impactful on an audience that it inherently makes them do something to better the world as they leave the show. So that's a bigger goal type bucket list thing. So there's a couple. Then I have little things. I still want to fly a helicopter at some point. I'd like to jump out.
You should look into GTA.
Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah. You do all that.
I want to fly a helicopter because when I was younger, I went into an eye doctor appointment and he was like, yeah, you're colorblind, which really just means you can't be a helicopter pilot. And I was like 12, 11. I was like, want to bet? Watch me. So now it's just like one thing I want to do to just say I've done it.
That's strange. Like all the controls in a helicopter.
That's what he said.
Buttons that are colors.
Well, he said you have to pass the color test to be a helicopter pilot. And I was like, oh.
Red
You're
means,
like, oh,
red
it's-
means green means fly.
Yeah.
Red
Red
means
crash.
don't fly.
Yeah,
Is that-
exactly.
Is that the blue engine failure light, or is that the red engine failure light? I can't tell. Madison, question?
Yeah. Jacob Fate. He wants to know like tips on Instagram. Like you've got like a unique Instagram with it started off with 15-second Instagram videos, but then that time limit got increased to 1 minute. Like I don't know. Like he's asking what your tips are, but they're kind of right there in the videos, I think.
Yeah, for me, it's just a creative outlet. It's a way, I've slowed down. I only posted videos, and then now I post whatever I feel like, even if it's a picture of my kids and stuff. But my tips are just do what you enjoy doing. If you want to have good content, I think you have to enjoy what you're doing and not try and force it. So have fun. Do something fun that you like doing on there. If it's magic, great. Don't post magic that's crappy. And I'm sure half of mine are crappy, or people would say they're crappy, but just I enjoy doing them in the context I do them in. And I think for me, it's don't overthink them. But then you got people like, Ramsey that do high quality videos that are edited nicely. And it's just, for me, it doesn't fit right. I just like clicking play on this screen and recording it and then posting it. So just have fun with it. Don't overthink it. That's my advice.
You got to find what works for you and your image.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself scripting your Instagram videos, or like scripting your captions, or scripting your magic tricks in general, or does it all come quite like naturally and off the cuff?
I don't ever script Instagram. No, Instagram videos I don't. My stand-up show, I do spend a lot of time on scripting, and I think it's very important. And close-up magic, yeah, I have outlines of scripts that I'm going to do, and then I just know sort of a starting point, what I'm going to say to get into the trick. I do the trick, and then I have a closing line I like to leave them with to sort of conclude the effect. But the middle part is just what feels right in the situation.
Did you script The Working Man by Adam Wilber?
Nice.
Drink.
I did not script. I did, however, script Creative Magic, the book I wrote.
By Adam Wilber.
By Adam Wilber, yeah. There you go.
Okay. I have one question left. What about you, G?
I've got one question as well.
Okay, so Cody Davis wants to know, how did you get your breakthrough in magic? I'm
still waiting for it to come.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say, obviously, starting with The Illusionist is probably the biggest thing that happened to me as far as the magic community. And that came from just being active, being present on their socials and answering and posting videos and engaging in conversations until somebody, paid attention.
The last question's a bit personal. It's about your wife, and they've actually said lovely wife too.
Is it from you, G?
It's not from me. It's from Bert Villanueva. Do you want to answer it, Adam, or no?
If it's disrespectful towards my wife, absolutely not. But if it's just an honest question, I'd be happy to answer it.
No. It says, okay, dude, now I know in the last video jam at Illusionist, you mentioned that your lovely wife is Filipino. Just want to ask, have you had any Filipino dishes? What's your favorite? God bless. And mahube, which means live long, I think.
Beautiful. So if my wife was here, she'd go, oh, he's my people. And absolutely, I have a lot of Filipino food. My wife is a phenomenal person in life in general, but a phenomenal cook. And my favorite dish she cooks is, that's tough. She makes a mean curry, chicken curry. She also, just last night, made like a grilled salmon packet, probably chicken adobo. She makes a outrageously good chicken adobo. So that would be my favorite.
Sweet. I think that concludes the AMA. I'm all out of drink. I think everyone at home is probably all out of drink. Yeah, like the WILBER was successful.
Good.
I guess like the main thing that I want to potentially bring up is like, what one question would you have liked to have been asked that you weren't? Like, what one answer were you just like, you wanted to share with everyone and you were hoping that you could give, but no one really asked that right question? Have you got any piece of advice you want to finish on?
That's a great question, G.
Yo. Oh, shit. Let me get my camera on. Hold on. This is an event.
Oh, Chris, we're finishing.
Chris Ramsey, yeah, Chris, we're just about to finish.
Chris, we're just finishing, Chris.
We're just about to finish, Chris.
No, we're just finishing.
Actually, Chris, this could be helpful.
Chris,
do you have a question
I called you like 1 hour and 10 minutes ago, and you join us right when we're finishing.
You just call me now.